As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and the coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, folks, we're going to have an amazing show in honor of Women's History Month. And if you've never been to this channel before, guys, you're in for a treat today. We've got a lot of great information for you as far as Women's History Month is concerned. So, before we dig deep into that topic, in the meantime and in between time, I want to talk to my co-host. So, co-host, how you doing?
I am well. Good day, good week. I'm glad it's over. It's been a quieter week.
Happy Women's History Month.
Yes. Happy to you. We're not quite sure when the men's month is, but
do we ever get a men's month? Even a men's hour. We'll be cool with that.
I was told, which doesn't seem quite fair, that because there is a Mother's Day, that you guys' month was coming up in June, but that didn't seem quite fair since May is Mother's Day. So I don't know. You guys must get the other 11 months. Maybe that's it.
Man, co-host, you're going to have to launch a campaign for us.
I think so. Because there's some unfairness there. I agree. Some unfairness.
we need a little love and pampering too.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. I think it's just... I have to do some research to see why you guys don't have a whole, your own whole month.
We're going to have a talk with Congress, man. We need to know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know, Congress doesn't think there should be women, period. So then all the months would be yours.
But if that was the case, man, these guys have been in Congress for what, like how many centuries now?
Lots of them.
Since the beginning of time, since the 1700s, right?
Right, exactly.
And they still haven't created a day for us, so they're never going to do it, man. Even they don't care about us.
I think it's because they think that all the days belong to y'all. But there's a distinction. You and them.
That's it, man. The humble servants over here, man. We would love a day, Mr. and Miss Congress, men and women. Give us a day, please.
Well, we will have to work on that. Maybe next time I go to Legislation Day up in Sacramento, I'll ask that question. How about
you
that?
get a lot of recognition for that. You know that, right? They're gonna wait a second. Who's this woman trying to advocate on behalf of the males?
Right, exactly. Because it takes both. We can't do this world alone. God didn't intend that.
We need each other. See, a lot more people need to understand it. I think they know it, but they're pretending like they don't know. We need each other. There's no way, they say there's no me without you. That is true. We need each other, man.
And on top of that, God didn't intend it that way. That's why he put together two people, man and woman.
That's why they took two of our ribs and go, hey, you need a helpmate. Here you go. Now you got to help me.
Exactly. So
folks, if you're just joining us, if you've never been to the Business Zone channel before, this is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30, and this is a channel for small and micro businesses. We provide resources, advice, advocacy, support, technical assistance for all small and micro businesses, no matter where you are. You don't necessarily have to be only in California. You can be in another state. You could be in the United States, or you could be in any other part of the world. That's how far our reach is. People have been sending us information from Venezuela, from South Africa, Canada, Germany, Australia, yeah, even Egypt, as far as Egypt. Now, we don't know the Egyptian language, but maybe we'll have to learn it so we can communicate a little better with the Egyptians. So that's what's been
Well,
going on,
actually,
guys. Today,
I
go
have a
ahead,
direct
co-host, go
connection
ahead.
to Egypt. I have a direct
Oh,
connection to Egypt. It's called a daughter and a
see, my,
granddaughter.
my co-host has a direct linkage with Egypt.
I do. I do. I do. So, but yeah, and actually, speaking of that, so we're going to give them homage today. Um, Today is the end of Ramadan, which went through
Oh,
the month of March. And interesting enough, all of the craziness that's been going on in the Middle East with Israel and Iran, this is all doing their what would be equivalent to their it's a holy holiday and a
uh-huh.
month. So they're very observant. They spend most of the day praying. I'm a little chilly. The air is on here. They're praying and observing. They do not eat until sundown.
Mm.
And so I was talking to my daughter, and she was saying, uh, how crazy all the men are during this time because there's no eating, there's no drinking, there's no smoking, there none of that. So for the whole entire day, from sun up to sundown. So at 6 o'clock, that's when they actually have their very first meal of the day. And
Hmm.
so, needless to say, tempers have been flaring. So today
Really?
yes, so today is the final day, and I think it's called sorry guys if I mispronounced this, but it's Ed Ed Barak. I think that's what it's called. And so it's a holiday to celebrate the fact that they've gotten through their feasting month and
Hmm.
in one whole piece, because it appears that if you're not eating and drinking, if you're not eating, drinking water, any kind of beverage, well,
Yeah.
you can drink water, but they're big smokers, and so there's no smoking happening,
Really?
and, and so the men are on complete edge the whole entire month.
Mm-hmm.
So they're so today is the last day. So that's so they're celebrating. So today is a big feast
Wow.
with lots of sweets and the celebration that they got through that particular month. But during the whole whatever they're calling this war, not war, scrimmage, it's war um, that's happening between
Can you imagine someone punching you in the face and say, "Oh, this is not a war. I didn't
not a
really
war,
hit you."
not a war. It's your imagination. That's all it was. This was just a little disagreement.
That is crazy, man.
Disagreements with missiles.
Hey, we're reaching out to Pat over there, Miss Pat Langford. I call her affectionately. I call her Miss Pat Sinclair because Miss Pat has a different persona that comes to light sometimes, and that persona is totally different than Miss Pat Langford.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So Pat corrected Miss Ramadan. So Ramadan is the month, and then is it Mubarak?
Mumbai.
Mubarak. So it's Eid Mubarak is the celebration today, and yes, there's nothing going on during the Ramadan except for and Madam Sinclair. She says her name is,
Madam Sinclair. So she
and so
said,
that's
she said she was married to a Muslim, And
Okay.
during this time, there's no intimacy and no nothing during the daylight hours. So at nighttime, so if there's no intimacy, so does that go on at night?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
After 6 o'clock, after sunset.
Okay.
During the daylight hours, no. So actually, that's really not sunset because, well, here it's sunset. In Egypt, it does not get dark
Until
until somewhere around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So that's really
mm,
what's happening in the Middle East. So all of this has been going on during the time of this holy period. Um,
mm,
and so I'm not quite sure how Iran handled that, but that's what's been going on over there.
mm.
So, and it just
You know what
nothing.
I'm
She said
wondering?
nothing. Hmm?
Do, do they have small businesses there, and how do those small businesses function? I want to know that.
Well, in Egypt, yes, everything is a small business. Most of the businesses in Egypt are centered around tourism.
Yeah,
And so, but you have generational businesses. You have in the little areas which I call like villages,
yeah,
and this is depending on the economic scale of the individuals. There's a lot of little stores underneath the buildings, underneath the apartment buildings, and
yeah,
they're selling clothes, toiletry stuff. They're selling. You have like these little fresh, well, markets. But like when I was there, when my daughter lived in the little village area where her husband's family lived, she would there was a store below, and so she would call them on the phone, and then she would drop her basket down out the window, and then they would put whatever they were going to put. If she was getting bread or she was getting juice or she was getting soda, she
yeah.
would then put the money in the basket and drop it down the out of the window, and then pull it back up with the product, with whatever she bought from the store. So yes, a lot of small businesses um, in areas in the new Cairo, as they call it. Those are areas that are definitely catering to the tourism.
Yeah.
So that means that they have Persian carpets. They have stores which are family owned. Cotton, because that's what Egypt is known for, cotton. And then they have the it's the it's screen. It's like they take pappas, which is the wheels from the um reefs that's in the lake, in the river, in the
Mhm.
Nile, rather, on the Nile, and then they pound them out, and then it's like a papyrus paper. I
Yeah.
have a couple that I bought when I was there. So those are the type of things: perfumes, oils. Um,
So
there
they offer a lot of commodities and stuff like that, right?
they do, they
Mm.
do, and they have a setup just similar to ours. So my daughter wants to start a cosmetic business, cosmetics for more browner skinned people, or
Yeah.
are like us, because that's what her skin color is, and that's really what the majority of Egypt's skin color is.
Yeah.
And the makeup is more geared for the Saudi Arabians who have paler skin.
Darker complexion.
No, they're lighter.
Oh,
The
okay.
Saudi Arabians are lighter than the Egyptians. The
Yeah.
Egyptians are the original. A lot of them came from Aswan, which is the Nubian people, which is the direct descendants from the first humans on the earth,
Yeah.
and Aswan is right there on the Nile, and across from that is Sudan and Ethiopia. And
Mm.
so those skin colors are, the skin tones are darker. So she wants to do that, but they have to go through the same process. They have to get a license. They have to set up their structure. They have to have a permit. So very similar to ours.
Do they have consulting services over there too?
Or no, that they don't have. No,
Because
they don't have.
they probably don't even have a notary over there, then, right?
They have notaries because
Oh,
there's
they
a
have
lot of property
notaries.
bought. Yeah, there's notaries, but yeah, there's a lot of. I'm her consultant, and but there are a number of them. Like one of her neighbors. So the women have challenges. Yeah, their husbands don't normally necessarily want them to work outside of their house.
Oh,
And so they have to do business in the house. And so one of her friends makes some sort of ceramic crafty kind of things. And so she has been doing this for a while. And they're selling online at Shopify
so
and,
the customers come to
Etsy.
their home.
No, it's mail out online,
Oh, okay.
e-commerce. Yeah, nobody comes to the home.
Mm-mm-mm. See, that's good to know, man. That is good stuff to know because, we take a lot of things for granted. We go out in the marketplace and we assume that the world and the marketplace is the way that we see it here. But, there's a lot of differences in different cultures. So it would be nice for the rest of the world to know that.
Exactly, exactly. So that's what. So for women, and which is fantastic because that's what our topic is today. So for
Yeah.
women, that's really the only a viable type of business that they can have is in-home businesses. That now, thank God, there are online platforms, e-commerce that they can actually utilize.
Yeah.
Because before that, it would have to be like a family business market, and then the mother is working right along with the husband and so forth. So, and I think that's a lot that's actually in a lot of those type of countries anyway.
Since you've got the inside track, man, maybe we should do like consulting training online for them, So training with marketing so they can learn how to market their products and services to different customer base and what type of rules they want to put around that. You see what I mean?
And I think a lot of what they need, like, so, depending on, unlike us, there's no resources. There is no SBA there.
Yeah. Yeah, most third world countries, man, they don't have SBA,
Yeah, they
SBDC.
don't have an SBA. So one of the things I was telling her, she was, 'cause, you don't know if what is being imported into your city if it was not homemade in somebody's basement
Right, right, right.
or that it actually came from another country.
Yeah,
So she wasn't aware of that. But I told her in the beauty industry, which is huge in the Middle East,
yeah,
because the women, they may have to cover it, especially in Saudi Arabia and places where they're much more observant than, say, Cairo. Cairo is a little bit more relaxed as far as
yeah,
the head covering and the body covering, the hijab. They actually but the ones from the countries that everything is covered except for their face,
yeah.
oh, their makeup is exquisite,
See,
exquisite.
that's another type of makeup that you could delve into because since they're covered up all the time, that means they're probably going to sweat underneath those coverings. So the makeup probably has to be designed so it repels sweat. So when they sweat, it doesn't wash it off or anything
Right,
like that.
exactly.
You
So
know what
they
I mean?
use Mac because
Yeah,
Mac is more designed for the industry. So it's like the hot lights, right? So the same thing.
yeah.
And they use Mac, but Mac is extremely expensive.
Mm-mm-mm.
I think as of yesterday, the dollar was 49 to 1
Woo!
in Egypt. I think it was that 49 to 1. I think that's what it is
Mm-mm-mm.
right now. So, that means everything is very costly for them. And now, interesting enough, and I don't know if any, we have Izette, hey Izette, and we have Patricia. With the exception, well, I guess I've seen it, but again, you don't know whether it's coming from what's happening in the war or whether it's just the tariffs. We've kind of I don't know, maybe we're a little I know we have post-traumatic, we have trauma right now.
Yeah.
So we have PTSD, but the cost. So right now, I know I haven't had to buy gas recently, but I have seen people posting that gas is somewhere up near $5 or $6. It was. Do you know what is in your area, Gilbert? Because I don't drive out. I only fill out once a month.
The last time I purchased gasoline, it was like 450 to 60. That was like 3 weeks ago. So I'm sure it's probably up to five something now.
Yeah, and I think I saw someone posting near a freeway exit. The gas was $8.
Woo-wee.
But in Egypt, they are feeling it. They have been feeling it from the moment of the first bomb went off.
So they don't have any refineries there then, huh?
They don't have any of that, which is why they're usually not caught up in this part of it, because they are really truly their income comes from strictly from yeah. But so does Dubai, but they happen to be a rich country. And UAE is a rich country, and Qatar is a rich country. But there's no flights coming in and out from anybody's wherever. And if they are, their flight costs are extremely expensive right now.
Is that said? The price of gas is $5.09 yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. So in different places, in areas that they're already 5 on, yeah. So there, if it's in certain areas more populated by freeways on the west side, their gas would be higher than in the urban areas.
That is so interesting because we never think about those things, but different nations go through certain things that we never factor in terms of economic development. We never factor in terms of business, and growth and all of that. So that would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But do you want to tell the audience how to
Yes.
Contact us and how to subscribe?
Yeah. So first, before we get to the contact part, let's talk about let's give them our intro, and then we will move on into what we're going to talk about, and then we'll do our little station announcement. So this month, obviously, ladies, it is Women's History Month. Gilbert and I just talked about that. We got to figure out when there's the Men's History Month. We don't know when that is, but we're going to figure that part out. Or we're just going to make up one for you. How about that?
That was the plan to me.
for men of color.
There you go.
So what we're doing is we're going to do a tribute and to the women and women in business. But what we're going to do is today is give you a playbook, I guess, on how to be a leader in your space, right? And Gilbert was excited when I brought this topic up today.
Oh, yeah.
For the two ladies that are here on the show, you guys know he just like, you guys are on pedestals.
Yes. You guys are top of class for me when it comes to female entrepreneurs. I love working with female entrepreneurs. And as a matter of fact, when I teach my classes, my programs, most of the participants in the program are women. So, that's my number one sector, my number one target demographic there. So I have to treat them well.
Exactly. So this is for Gilbert, right up his alley, and he absolutely loves it. But one of the things is, guys, we're going to hand you the map to success and the map to leadership, commanding the space that you're in, and enjoying the ride while you're doing it. And so, Gilbert, what are we covering today?
So today we're going to be looking at 4 parts. Okay, we're looking at leadership, identity, and confidence. We're looking at communication mastery. We're looking at AI tools of leveling the playing field for women entrepreneurs and women leaders. And the 4th part is we're going to be looking at certification and resources built for you. That's
Okay.
how we're chopping up the show today. And guys, if you have any information you want to share with us too, man, throw it in the chat. Let's talk. Let's have some communications.
Let's talk. So today we're actually talking about leadership and authority, your identity as a female, as a woman-owned business owner, and so we're gonna get ready for that. But in the meantime, now we can kind of tell you, I am, as Gilbert said, Gilbert is Gilbert, and I am Crystal. And we want to welcome you to the Business Zone. We're here every Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. And we would love for you to go over and hit our QR code or hit our subscribe button so that you can get notification every Friday of when we're about to come on. And if you go, and as soon as we post, then you can go ask them to notify it so you don't forget, because I know we all have extremely busy days and sometimes we get all caught up in what we're doing. And so we want to thank you guys for joining us, taking the time out and joining us today. And so hit that subscriber, the QR code, and it'll take you over to our YouTube channel. And then you can become a subscriber. It's like joining the family. We actually should call it the family. Join the family button. How about that?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. See, that's what I'm talking about, Cole. That subscription thing, it just seems so impersonal. But join the family button, man, that's what we need. So we're gonna have to figure out how we can get that up there.
Yeah, this is join the Business Zone family and be connected to Gilbert and I on a regular basis. How about that? So I think that's a better term for us. So today we're gonna talk about, ladies, the Women's Business Owners Playbook. This is in alphabetical order, but this is not quite how it's going to play out. But with AI or authority, which is leadership, communication mastery, and then other resources and tools that are out there for you to become successful. So we're going to cover a lot. What we're basically is giving you tools, strategy, and some real-time specific usable information, because that's what Gilbert and I like to do. We like you to walk away being able to implement whatever we're talking about.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, ladies. We women, as a woman myself, man, we be holding down some places. You got your home, you got your business, you got your own personal life. So we were built to run business, actually, to be, in my opinion. We're great budgeters at the house. I used to say my mother could squeeze the head off of a nickel when I was growing up. So she was a budgeter of all budgeters. And I'm sure your mother knew how to do that as well, Gilbert.
Yeah, definitely. She was the chief, what they call the chief everything officer.
Yeah, she really truly was the CEO, huh?
Yes. The chief everything officer. I love it. I love it. She made it happen, man.
Yeah, boy. And you don't even know, when you compare our mothers to certain people today.
Yeah.
They never broke down, or at least you never saw them break down, right?
Never.
They were going through stuff, but they didn't break down in your presence.
Yeah.
So according to, in my world, she was a superwoman.
That's true, man. That is true. And the thing about it is, and I want to just throw this out there because I want to be real about what we're talking about here. A lot of people say women don't know how to lead, women don't run anything, right? And I can see where some people come from with that. But knowing what we know growing up, we know that is not exactly true, because our mothers, most of us from the downtrodden neighborhoods, economic dispossessed communities that we come from, we know that most of the households are run by women. And the women, they have to make things happen. let's say a mother with 5 kids, and dinner time is coming up. You look in the cupboard, there's no food in there, but miraculously, in an hour and a half, there's food on the table for everybody. And you go, how does she do that? And you marveled at that. So those are things that I grew up with, and I'm sure, co-host, you grew up with that too.
Oh.
So we respect that. We respect that. And when I say, the moms are the chief everything officer, I'm serious about that, because not only do they prepare the meals, they're teaching us as men, how to make our beds, how to wash our clothes, how to iron and do all of that stuff too. And at the same time, she's going to the market, getting stuff. It was unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
And they weren't making a lot of money.
No.
And a lot of times, I don't know about anybody else's, but my mom was a single mom.
Yeah.
And so there was not like some income coming in other than her own.
Right.
And until we got old enough to go to work, but they didn't have a lot of money to work with, but
they made it happen.
They made it happen. And in some cases, Gilbert, if you were, I don't know if we want to use the word poor or disadvantaged, whatever the word is. You didn't even know you were. I didn't know I was until I was like 14 and I understood what was going on. Then I knew, it was like, oh wow, okay, let me get, because she's not even eating lunch, man. She's giving all her little money to us. So
yes.
So yeah, but in some cases, there was one young lady that was in a class of mine in the early part of my career. She and her 5 kids were homeless, and the children never knew they were homeless.
Wow.
And until she was this is many years later, her teenage son, and at the time I think he was like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But at the time, when he became about 17, 18, she was having a conversation with someone, and she was talking about her homeless experience and how she survived that. And he said, "We were homeless? When did that happen?"
Oh man, see, that's what moms are good at, man. They're good at putting up that facade to make the kids feel comfortable and don't panic, don't freak out, because a lot of people, you're right. A lot of people say, I didn't even know I was poor, because the mom did such a great job not to make them feel poor,
Yeah, everything. But at that time, everything, they cooked at home. They made your clothes, so it wasn't like you were going to the store with them on a regular basis. So Azette and anyone else, and Patricia, if you guys had a fabulous super mom, super queen mom, please put a shout out in the chat there for your super mom, because all moms need to have that. And if you guys are those super moms, chat it up for yourself as well.
Chat it up, man. Chat it up.
That's very important.
Take your flowers.
Take your flowers. So, so today the first pillar we're going to talk about is leadership and that identity, and who you are as a leader, and why that is the foundation of where everything starts. Because you, as a business owner, that's what you are, a leader. And then you put on other multiple hats of leadership, depending on your outreach and so forth. So I wear many hats of the leadership pillar. But being able to identify it and being able to stand in the power of your leadership is extremely important, especially in business. And if you do business in a oh Lord. The young lady is just responding to me that was supposed to be on the show, and she was asking, was there a link?
Well, she can join in, as a contributor and just provide us some information in the chat, because we already embarked on this journey right now. We're a mile down the road, so just she can just contribute to the show and share some of her experience, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, I will. When we'll start on, and then I will send her something to. Well, she actually is a business owner, so maybe somewhere in
Well,
this we might be able to
unless
utilize.
unless you want to give her a link as a guest and she could come in and she can contribute that way as a business owner, you
I
know?
think I may do that because that way because we one of the leadership pieces was the woman owned business, so that
Yeah,
might be, and we'll just bring her in and we'll kind of go through what we're gonna do and then bring her in that way.
because we
Uh,
can accommodate up to 10 guests on here. So yeah,
yeah.
we'll bring her in
So
as a
let
guest
me
so she
send
can.
her a link.
So while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and I'll speak
Yeah,
a
go
little
ahead and do the
bit.
rest of the pillars, and then and then we'll jump into the whole concept here.
Right. So a big part of what we're talking about today, guys, is for women entrepreneur to stop playing small, stop thinking small, stop operating small, look at things as a big approach to what you do. Your business should look big. Your operating plan should look big. Your strategic plan should look big.
Mhm.
And most of all, guys, you need to have a 12-month strategy plan, a 12-month or 18-month plan. So you know where you're going, where you're headed, and you've got timelines and measurements to get to where you're going. Because otherwise, you'll just be traveling all willy-nilly with no direction. And anything can happen to you to derail you. So and we're not speaking to you as if you don't know anything and we're above you guys. No, we're not doing that. We're just sharing what we've experienced out there, what we've seen with other businesses, what we've seen with successful businesses. As a matter of fact, for those of you who are in my mentorship program that just graduated, you know that I'm writing a book called The Invisible Small Business. And one of the invisible small business categories in that are women owned businesses. As you know, women owned businesses have been invisible from the beginning of time. No one recognizes them, no one respects them, no one sees them, no one gives them loans, no one gives them lines of credit. No one gives them contract opportunities. No one try to support them and help them with their certifications. And that's why we exist here at the Business Zone, to do that and help support the women-owned businesses. Because like I say, most of the participants in my program are female entrepreneurs. So we have to give them a lot of love and give them their flowers and encourage them to continue so that they can get to the next level as well. My co-host did some research. I don't have the direct number, but I believe from our conversation today, she said in terms of GDP, women-owned businesses occupy $2.3 billion in
Actually,
GDP.
$2.7 trillion is generated by small business, women-owned businesses.
Yes.
So that's how many are actually
2.6, right? 2.6?
$2.7 trillion.
2.7 trillion. See?
Trillion.
That's what
But
I'm talking about.
we only represent 4% of the of
The,
that population.
the total GDP, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, guys. So if women-owned businesses are bringing in that type of revenue, can you imagine if they have the support, they had the unity, they got the collaboration that we talked about last week? Instead of competing against each other, collaborate and work together to bring about better results. Women-owned businesses, they do hire a lot of folks as well. And that is something that we need to talk about because I don't think a lot of folks in the marketplace recognize that. So, leadership identity and unshakable confidence is what we're going to delve into to show how this works. So, as you know, on this show, we've talked about different leadership styles. We've talked about autocratic leadership. And autocratic leadership is a person who say, do as I say. Whatever I tell you to do, you do it, and you do it now. That's autocratic leadership, right? They don't take any input from anyone else. Then you've got democratic leadership. A democratic leadership is the leader that they listen to their followers, they listen to their supporters, hear what they have to say, and then they incorporate a lot of what the supporters have to say into their policies and decision-making strategies. Okay? Then you got the laissez-faire leaders, who those are ones who have no strategic plan, no written plan. They just make decisions as they go along. So if they made a decision 2 months ago and a similar situation comes up this month, they don't really remember what the plan was, what the approach was. So they're just making up things on the fly. Now, then you have what they call a combination leadership style, where a leader can combine the autocratic with the democratic, and now they have a different style of leadership, which becomes more of a situational leadership. So the situational leadership is based on the situation that occurs, that comes up in a certain situation. You use that style which is applicable to the situation. Now, most female leaders tend to be democratic leaders. They tend to be democratic. I'm not talking about Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I'm not talking about any of that. Democratic, the word democratic means that you consider the opinions and the voices of others. That's what democratic is about. Democratic means you listen to other people and you combine all of that. So women leaders tend to be that, because if you notice, when they have kids, and let's say they have 4 kids, they have to treat each and every one of them fairly and treat them the same way, treat Mary the same way that she would treat Jake or Tom or Patsy. They have to treat them the same way. So that's where that democratic approach comes from. And because of that, and they have that nurturing quality to them, so it makes it easier for them to be that type of leader. Now, I'm going to lean in on my co-host and have her tell you a little. Go ahead, co-host.
I'm gonna jump in just one quick moment. So when you talk about a democratic leader, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, so one of the reasons is because a lot of women, we try to be equitable, right? And we are also people pleasers. And yes. So that kind of creates that democratic, like we want to make sure that everyone is getting their fair share, especially if we're moms, because that's part of momming, is to make sure that a child does not feel like they're being left out, or mommy cares more for one than the other. So we tend to do that. And so the ladies that are listening, sometimes you take on a client that is not a good fit based upon the fact that you don't want to be that person that is going to turn down another woman, right? Especially if it's a woman and she has challenges or whatever. So you don't want to disappoint them. So you bring them in, you kind of are subject to their sob stories, right? So and that way you'll discount your rates. You'll do things like that really harms your business, because you're trying to be that equitable person to make sure that you're not creating an uncomfortable place. That's for women. We also do that in the space with men, especially if it's a male-dominated type of industry. We tend to kind of take a back step. We're some cases you're not comfortable jumping out there and saying, no, I don't agree with that. you tend to kind of fall into a pleasing type of situation.
Mm. That is some great observation there and data, co-host, and it's true. It is true. A lot of women, especially leaders, they tend to operate in a more equitable manner, where you
Mhm.
get a car, you get a car, you get a car, everybody gets a car. It's not like, hey, you get a car, but those won't get a car. So
No.
so that's how that works, and that's a great point right there. um then the other part to that is the unshakable confidence. Now, leaders are respected based on the fact that they show know-how, they show confidence, they show that ability to be firm and making no mistakes. That's strong leadership right there. So, in the eyes of female leaders, we want to see leaders that are unshakable. They've got the confidence. So, people will feel like, hey, I want to follow this leader to the ends of the earth. That's where we get the leader with reverent power. Reverent power is someone that you will follow to the ends of the earth. If that person say jump, you say how high. I want you to work overtime. I want you to work late tonight till 11 o'clock. You're gonna say no problem, boss. I'll work for you. Of course, you got obligations of home too. And you'll call the family and say, hey, sorry, I'm working a little late today because I gotta take care of this project with my boss and with the company.
Hmm.
So that's what reverent power is about. We know a few leaders out there. We know a few male leaders who had reverent power. Martin Luther King had reverent power. People followed him. Obama, Barack
Hmm.
Obama, he had reverent power. People followed him.
Hmm.
Even Bill Clinton had reverent power. People
Hmm.
followed him. So we need to start digging out those female leaders who have reverent power also, that will make people want to follow them. When I was in college, co-host, when I was in college, I was working at the same time. And I was working for this public work agency, and they had a lady, she's an Italian woman.
Hmm.
She had reverent power. She made me do a lot of things I didn't care about doing. I wanted to follow her so badly because I just love her vibe. She make us feel comfortable. She motivated us. She encouraged us.
Right.
And those are things that makes us want to work for her, go the extra mile. After work, she said, "Okay, we're gonna have an event. I'd love 4 of you guys to be there." And people were volunteering. People were like, "Yeah, me, I want to go." Instead of going home and take care of their business at home. So that's reverent power there. When you really want to do things to support your leader, and we want to build more female leaders like those. I'm sure there's a lot because, as you and I say, co-host, our moms, uh, they were such great leaders that they provide things for us, and we want to, wow, where did that come from? We didn't see
Exactly.
any resources.
Exactly.
And then that makes us want to follow her wherever. If she tells us something, say, hey, listen, I know it's tough right now, but give me 4 or 5 days, I'll make it better for you. We believe her. We believe her.
Exactly.
She's done it over and over. And it's the same thing with um, current day female leaders. We want to see a lot more of those. So we're not telling you should be that. But if you want to be that, then we're showing you some of the traits, some of the strategies that you can use. So, co-host, you
Right.
want to
And,
you want
and I do think, and based upon where we are today in this lovely world that we're in, leadership is important because, as you can see, when there is wimpy leadership, I'm going to use that word, or when the employee, if you have employees or partners, and you don't take that lead, it really can create some animosity or some resistance within the business that you're in, and it also can prevent you from getting to become successful, right? Because you will leave a lot of stuff on the table. And so people follow, just like Gilbert said, people follow people who give them the impression that they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and that they're confident in what they're doing, right? I'll follow you if you're confident, but if you're not confident, I'm a little bit leery on that side, because I don't know if it's for both of our best interests. Now, an example of that would be currently what's going on in our world today, right? We have a number of very narcissistic, both men and women, to be quite honest. And if we want to use a female as one of our examples, you can have a female that tries to absorb the role of what they interpret a strong man as, right?
Yeah.
And so if we look at if we start to analyze the personalities, and from a business standpoint of Christy Knowles, where she was thinking that being mean and cruel and um, uh, operating like a male versus a female, and standing in her confidence, then she would have gotten different results. But when you have to result to threatening, and then at the same time you're not standing in integrity, because
Yeah.
Leadership requires being having integrity, right?
Yeah.
People follow those that they can trust, and
Yeah.
that they feel that you have their best interest at hand,
Yeah.
and that you're honest and you're a man or woman of your word. So I think that makes a big difference in today when we're talking about leadership today.
Yeah. And see, you mentioned something earlier, co-host. You mentioned a leader who is a people pleaser versus a principled leader. So
Right.
a people pleaser leader is the one who just doesn't say the things to please and appease others. Their supporters, yeah, this is what they want to hear, so I'm going to say that. But a
Right.
principled leader is the one that does what you just mentioned, that they operate on integrity. So they'll do the right thing even when no one is looking. They're going to do the right thing. They have values and they hold those values very high. If you're going to follow them, then they're going to, whatever they're telling you they'd like to have, they're doing it themselves. So leadership by example. So that's another part of it.
And that's so important, because again, Gilbert, I can't follow you if I'm seeing that there's a flaw in your leadership armor, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to trust you if that's the case, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and if you're a yes man, that can only go so far. And then at
Exactly.
some point, you're seeing that somebody else is pulling the strings, which is what
Right.
we're seeing today, because this is your place that you're trying to lead the people wherever you want, your employees, your whomever. But if you're showing that break in the armor, then more likely I'm gonna have a major problem with you.
Right. And the thing is, right now in our society, we have what we call the sisterhood, where a lot of women operate within the sisterhood. So they don't hold a lot of other women accountable. They know they're doing bad things. They're saying bad things. They're saying disparaging things about other people. But because they want to maintain that sisterhood, they don't challenge this person. They don't tell him, hey, what you just said is wrong and it's unethical, or it's biased, it's racist, it's sexist. They don't do that. So they just, because they want to stay in good grace with the sisterhood, they will say stuff. So a principled leader, she will look at that and say, hey, that wasn't cool. You cannot say stuff like that. It's either unlawful, it's unethical, or it shouldn't happen. We don't tolerate that around here. So putting forward those types of principles will let whoever is in the sisterhood know that, hey, you cannot get away with saying and doing bad things. For example, I'm going to say something kind of out of whack here. This is not within the form of organizations, but yeah, it could be. So let's say you're running an organization and there are two people who are dating, and this is a big thing that I'm against in organization. I'm not I'm not for we're employees dating each other. I am not for that. Because when they break up, co-hosts, bad things happen because some people are going to be vindictive, some people are going to be poisonous, and they're going to say and do things to hurt the other person just because they're upset. And a lot of times we've seen in organizations where a girl might break up with the boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, she may make some false allegations against the guy, but because it's a female, the sister would start protecting her and say, "Yeah, I believe that. I believe that he did that," without having any evidence, which could turn out to destroy this man's life and his family, could send him to prison. So a principled leader, female leader, will look at that and say, "Hey, let me observe the evidence here. I want to see the evidence." And she'll investigate, because a big thing about leadership is observation. You observe people and you observe things. So
Right.
she's going to observe and investigate to see, okay, is this guy really guilty of what is being said? Or is this person just making it up against him because she's bitter? So that's what principled leaders do. They don't
Right.
just let people, dump on other people and destroy them. So, you know, I would like to see a lot more of that with female leaders, where they say, "Hey, sisterhood is nice, but my integrity means more to me." Because that could easily happen to a female leader's son. It could happen to her son or her brother,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
So she has to look at it that kind of way. I mean, this was a little different kind of example, but just to break away from the sisterhood and look at the principled part of leadership, because I really want to go close to something that means a lot to the female leader, which is a sisterhood and collaboration, and then let it be known that, hey, even though this collaboration is important to me, if I see things are being done dirty, then I'm going to speak out against it.
And Gilbert falls in line with our conversation last week, right? So exactly what you just said, it really positions itself there, because if we were talking about one of the power tools is to collaborate, right?
Yeah,
Because it
yeah,
it it, it, it expands your reach. But
yeah,
if you have a reputation to be that person that is not unbiased, and that you're going to just stand on this side without cause, or without, or what is it, allowing that person to be innocent until proven guilty,
right.
but automatically, because you're in the sisterhood, you have to be more objective than that, because
Yeah,
if you start to develop that kind of relation, or that kind of reputation, then that's going to follow you
yes,
into perpetuity, actually. But that could be an issue when we're talking about collaboration and
yeah,
working together,
yeah,
because even in a collaboration, there has to be a very the leadership positions, depending on where you're serving in that partnership,
yeah,
has to be solid, and it has to be the individuals coming together to collaborate have to feel confident that that person, uh, one, has their brand and your brand kind of syncs together, right? And
yeah.
you're just as concerned about your reputation as you would be about my reputation.
And co-host, I want to do a little case study here live on the air right now, because I've known you for a few years,
Mm-hmm.
and I see you as a female leader in the community and in the marketplace. So I
Mm-hmm.
know you've come across different types of different types of females who may have supported you, they may have collaborated with you, and you may have bonded with some and you may not have bonded with others, and there are particular reasons why you haven't. So without even saying the names of who these people are, can you tell our audience whether or not you've experienced a group of other female entrepreneurs who, some of them, were just doing bad things. They're not following the rules, but they're expecting you to support them just because you're female, just like them, and trying to jeopardize your integrity as a leader, principled leader. Have you ever come across something like that?
Um, Not as much in my latter career, but in the very beginning, when you're making a name for yourself, find your position in your place. I think I've seen that from some clients, though. I've seen
Yeah.
clients that have they paid me, but at the same time, once I've done all of the hard work, then they pass it on to somebody else to do, the ongoing work. Which in some cases, if I see that in my early days, not I don't do it as much now, but if I saw an opportunity, say I came in to clean up, because that's generally how people come to me, is when I'm doing the troubleshooting stuff, right? And so somebody's recommended me to come do troubleshooting and clean up whatever. And so to get them back on track so that they can qualify for whatever they need to qualify for, or pass whatever certifications they need to pass. And I've had some that utilized me for that and then turned around and asked me, could I recommend someone for their full-time purpose, for their ongoing purposes. Now, in the beginning, that was my business, where doing accounting and bookkeeping and all that sort of stuff was my business and my practice. And then they wanted me to train the new person coming in. That kind of doesn't work at that point in time. Now that's fine, because that's not what, I don't do those services. But I was like, wow, that's interesting. And it took me a long time. I've run across that person over the years.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get past that. And I think about 2 years ago, I ran into that particular person. I'm sure that they don't remember that even happened. And spoke to me just like she didn't even remember any of that, right? So and it was still very prevalent in my mind.
Yes.
But they didn't even remember that had happened. And it's like, oh, I'll have to call you. Maybe we can do some business. Thinking, no, no, we can't.
It's crazy, man. That is so crazy. And that's the thing with those folks too, who don't recognize and respect principled leadership. They've got short memories, very short memories.
Oh Lord, it's short memory. And now, and I think now, because a lot of my referrals come from other people, and so other people know who I am, and what type of a leader I am, or what type of business person I am. So they will deter it from even getting to me. So I don't think I encounter that too much now at this later date. I have encountered some, and it took them a minute to get over it. I'm because of my commitment to my business, because I do a lot of collaboration. I guess sometimes people think, I don't know, they have their own preconceived, and they develop this jealousy thing or competitive thing. And because I don't buy into it, so they eventually have to come around and realize that she's not like that, right? And so they'll back off. So in my latter years now, I get that sometimes, and then eventually they realize that I am not in competition with you, because I am who I am, and you do what you do, and I do what I do. And so therefore, I'm not coming to you like that, and I'm not going to respond to you coming to me like that. So I think that's more what I get from that.
Right. And before I move on to the next pillar, which is emotional intelligence, which we hear a lot of people talk about. And then when you ask them what is emotional intelligence, they can't tell you because they don't know what it is. They heard people talking about it. They go, oh, okay, I'm going to use the same thing, but have no clue what emotional intelligence is. So we're going to touch on that. But I just want to add one more point to this when we're talking about principled leader is that a principal leader recognizes when someone is trying to gaslight you or trying to get you to say and do things in order to support their bogus claim or their bogus campaign. So some of these people, based on their moods and their reaction, they think that, okay, they should control you and make you think and behave a certain way. And, as we know, that type of leadership or operation is more of a hostage situation.
Kind of like what's going on right now.
Yeah, that being principled and legitimate leadership, So yeah, man, those leaders, they recognize those things.
And this is so important. If you are not being a principal leader today in this day and age, that's a sad thing because that is a big problem because of the fact that what we're seeing right now is that we have a lot of unprincipled leaders out there. And so you don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that can be trustworthy. You want to have integrity. You want to have a stance. You don't want to be wishy-washy. You don't want to be any of those.
Yes. So
because, for me, I'm sorry. For me, Gilbert, if I start now, you got to use your gut nowadays, right? You got to use your gut to see if you're feeling, some off stuff, and then you have to make some decisions based upon that. Because some people can hide their coat of a disappointment.
That is so true, man. That is so true. The more we lead and we operate within this realm, is the more we're seeing a lot of these types of things. And, we just got to weed those things out. And it's going to take the leaders. And since we're talking about Women's History Month here on this show today, we're talking about leadership from the confines of females. A female leader, some of the things that she could do in order to hold her ground, stand out, and determine that she deserves to be that leader and to lead that organization or lead that project wherever she's going.
Right.
Now, the next aspect of this is emotional intelligence. We hear that so many times. You don't have emotional intelligence. And some people go, huh? Really? What is emotional intelligence? And a lot of people, they cannot determine what that is. They cannot differentiate it. So we're going to go into the different aspects of emotional intelligence, and there are 4 of them, right? There are 4 of them. The first one, co-host, do you want to touch on that, or do you want me to cover it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is awareness. The first one is awareness. So for emotional intelligence, you got to recognize. Can you hear me, co-host?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, you can?
Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. So the first aspect of emotional intelligence is awareness. Being able to be aware of your situation, be aware of the issue at hand, and then act accordingly. So if someone, let's say you have someone in your organization is just acting boisterous, acting up and doing crazy things, speaking to the customers a certain way, which is disrespectful and not in line with the mission of your organization. Emotional intelligence will let you step in and say, hey, first of all, I'm aware of what's going on. I'm aware that this person, one, is probably not trained in this area to
Oh my.
address the situation with a client. And two, they're probably not aware of the fact that when you act boisterous and aggressive towards a customer, that does not bring about good results because it's only going to drive away the customer instead of finding out what the customer's real needs are, and speak to those needs one at a time, and address it and show them why you're there to help them and not to work against them. So that's awareness right there. So then awareness having to do with the situation itself. It has to do with your approach to problem solving and conflict resolution. It has to do with your approach in recognizing what your policies are in line with state policies. Because if you're a corporation working here in California, you are guided by EDD and the state of California's regulatory requirements. So, running your business, you got to make sure you're addressing those, you're satisfying those. So, if your worker is behaving a certain way that's disrupting operation, is going to embarrass you, embarrass the company, and expose you to liability, you have to step in and do something about that. That's a big part of that emotional intelligence part called awareness. You want to add something to that, co-host?
Yeah, exactly. And our guest, we're going to give her, we're going to bring her on so we can apologize, first of all. But, and then she can kind of join into this conversation that we have going on. But I'll do that part and then I will, but yeah, so being aware, recognizing, and understanding, I think is so important of where we all have weaknesses.
Yeah.
We all have bad days. We all have the potential to be triggered.
Yeah.
And so just understanding your feelings and what you are capable of and what you are not capable of in a certain moments or periods of your day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes it's like, this ain't the day for me to have this conversation, or this is not the day for me to be dealing with these kind of challenges. I'm just gonna step back a little bit and regroup so that I make sure that I'm always leading with um, and being careful about my reputation and what the services and the customer service and that I'm providing to my customers. But sometimes, sometimes we had those days, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
We want to recognize when we're having that. So self-awareness is good.
Right. Exactly, man. And a big part of that is, you do understand that it may rub you the wrong way, but maybe that person is going through some things, why they're
Right.
behaving a certain way. And it's our job to kind of soothe them, not to patronize them, but to soothe them and let them know, hey, we're here for you. Our job is to solve this problem. So
Exactly.
tell me how you would like us to solve this problem. Now, if they're telling you some options that is outside of the standard operating procedures, it's outside of the rules, and you'll say, I really would love to do that. But state law regulates that we do it this way. So we're going to do it this way to help get you the same results you're looking for. That's going to make them calm down and start behaving a certain way, because now they feel like the customer feels like you're listening to them.
Right.
And I've seen people, leaders before, co-hosts, that all they said is these few words to the customer: I hear you. I hear you. You see what I'm saying? And that just calmed the customer down so much, because sometimes, customer just want to know that they're being heard. Have you have you ever called an organization because you're having a problem, whether it's, it's a fraud in your credit card account or something, and you're calling about it, and you're hyped up, and the person is just doing everything to get you more hyped up. Well, what did you do to prevent this, sir? It's like, wait a second, you're blaming me for someone doing fraudulent thing on my account? I'm bringing this to your attention to see how we can help to prevent this from happening again, and you guys can, correct the situation for me.
Exactly.
Well, sir, you should have protected yourself.
I'm gonna bring our guest on, Gilbert, because I am sure she has run into this multiple times in the industry that she's in, and because she actually provides, she helps clients achieve healthier hair after battling hair loss. And so women and hair is a whole thing, right? So, and she's going in the cosmetology field, you get that. It's like, it's your fault I'm losing my hair, right? So I think she could be able to add into this conversation that we're having, because she actually is in a very people-like, she is in a people-to-people industry. And so I think she might have some great input. Hi, Sonia. How are you? I need to move you back over here. And there you go. So sorry about all of the disconnections.
That's all. You know what? Always
how are you doing, Sonia? Welcome to BusinessZone.
I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So we're having this conversation,
right?
Say that again, Gilbert.
Sonia, you heard our conversation, right, that we're having?
Yes, I got the tail end of that, customer service.
Yes. So we were going over principled leadership, and a big part of principled leadership, for female entrepreneurs, not just female, but for leaders, right, is emotional intelligence. And one of the first pillar of emotional intelligence is self-awareness, being aware of what's going on if there's a certain issue. And my co-host was saying that based on the industry that you're in, you probably have come across these types of things a lot. And we're just trying to see how you went about addressing those as a leader.
Well, absolutely. Across time. And I will say that some of it, to be honest, stems with distrust, within the industry of other stylists that have caused damage. And so a lot of times when I have a client, I like to do a consultation with them first, just to kind of get a pulse on their story, their journey, where they're coming from. I like to listen to them and hear them out. And I drown out that background noise. They've had trauma before from another stylist. I take that in consideration, but I do not let that affect my interaction with that person. I'm an open book. I'm here as a new experience. And I try to let them know that I am here to work with you. I'm here to listen to you. I understand your concerns, and we go from there. Because I understand that women, our hair, we're tied up. It's emotional for us. It's emotional. It's our identity. It's our thing. So it deserves a space for me to hold when they are actually sitting with me, expressing that, to acknowledge, that was probably messed up. What happened? To hear them out. So I definitely think emotional intelligence, especially taking on a new client, is necessary in order to make that client happy or to find a solution that actually works for that client, right?
And a woman's most valuable asset is her beauty. So she wants to preserve that beauty as much as as much as she can. So the hair represents a big part of that beauty. So if something goes awry and she's acting up about it, she may have a legitimate reason. So the service provider, has to acquiesce and get into that leadership role to do what you just described, to understand the situation, find out a little bit about the history, what's going on, and then see what type of solution, meaningful solution, you could bring to the table to solve the problem and also make her feel happy at the same time.
True that.
Exactly. And I've had it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Sonia.
I was just, that's exactly true. And I've had it where my goal is not specifically to make them happy. I want to make them feel heard. And I feel like when I make them feel heard, happiness or contentment follows naturally.
Yes. That's amazing.
I will agree with that because, like, I was with a friend the other not long ago, and I had just done my hair, and I wear the boho braids, and she's like, "Oh my God!" And so she's sitting there, and I thought her hair was great because it was in her natural form, and I didn't even know she had the length of her hair was that, or that it curled up like that, and I was like, "Wow, your hair is beautiful." She goes, "Girl, let me tell you why I'm wearing this hair like this." And so she said, "My hair was supposed to look like yours." And she said, "It didn't come out like that." And so I was like, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah." She showed me the picture and I went, "Wow, how did y'all handle this one?" Because it was a disaster. And I know how I would have handled it as the customer. And so she says, like, I tried, and she was doing her best trying to make me feel comfortable. And she's like, I told her, I came home, I was like, "No, you got to take this out." And unfortunately, she's like a poodle, but it was horrible. So, but it was her regular hairdresser, so they understood each other. But yeah, you know, you have a certain idea in your head of what you're supposed to look like when you leave your hairstylist, and if it is not that way, you know, some customers have been not quite so nice.
And I think it's important as stylists. You know, I've been in the industry for 25 years. I'm old school, from old school styling. It is important to sit down and have a consultation, even if it is a client that you've had consistently for years. If they are trying something new for the first time, sit down with them 30 minutes, go through a series of images, look at the pictures, say, okay, so if you do this, but your hair is like this, and this is what's going to happen to your hair. Like, do a thorough, like, discussion, and you have to remove your ego from it. I don't care if you've been doing hair for 30, 40 years. Each client's hair texture, hair type, and then you put on a new style, it can be a whole new experience. So take that time and, you know, show your value as a stylist by sitting down with them with a full consultation. I don't care how long you've known them. Ego out the door, get the pictures out, and then just be straight up with them. Be honest. And if it's something you can't do, say, I can't do it, but I know somebody that can.
Right.
Exactly.
See, that leads into that principal leadership approach, co-host, that, you know, as a principal leader, you know that there might be certain limitations to some of the things you're doing. And for you, you've got to have that confidence to know that, hey, this is my limit here. What you require is a little bit more. So I'm going to refer you to this other source that can probably better help you achieving that objective. So I like what you're saying there, Sonia. I really like what you're saying. And the second pillar of emotional intelligence, the second pillar is one that's called self-regulation. Self-regulation, you have self-awareness, and self-awareness leads into self-regulation. That means you regulate your mood. The way you manage a situation is very, very important. You know,
exactly. That's kind of what Sonia was saying, though, as far as put the ego away, because this ain't about you, right? It's about the customer. Let me tell you a little bit about her, Gilbert. So, because in the area that she's in, you know, it's a delicate area for women because of their hair loss that takes place. So Sonia, as she said, she's been in the business for about 25 years, and she works with clients that are battling hair loss. Her work is with local mastectomy company, and it has given her insight to see the needs of the hair industry. So these are women, obviously, that have had their breasts removed and gone through chemo treatment, and as a result of that, have lost their hair, or their hair is thinned out, or whatever. It is different. It is very, very different afterwards. And so, is this your product line that It's your product line you
This
develop,
is
right?
my product line. Yes, yes. You know, after working with breast cancer, when they would get to that point after we've done the shaving, they want to grow the hair back. I'm in communication with the doctors. The doctors are like, well, they need to use coconut oil, they need to use this, all natural stuff. And so I got put in a position where I had to be the solution for these clients because there
Mm.
was nothing that um, I felt comfortable or confident with recommending to them, such as there's other brands out there, professional scope do grow. But when your doctor specifically said they want you to have something that's clean and natural, that's where I had to step in with my expertise and guide them. So, yeah, I teamed up with a chemist here in the States, formulated a 100% aloe vera grade brand with lavender, black castor, and sunflower seed oil and rosemary. And so I was able to put all of those ingredients into a solution that worked for women and just gain their trust when it comes back to, you know, trying to restore the hair. Because obviously after chemo and things like that, it's an entire different process. And you
Yeah,
cannot step in that woman and just run off at the mouth. You need to listen. You got to be
yeah,
very careful with what you say, how you say it. And it's very frustrating because the hair never comes back like it was before it came off. It comes back like baby hair. Those cells
yeah,
have died off. And so it
yeah.
takes a few years to mature. So you have to be willing to commit with that client and explain to them there's a structural way that the hair goes back from the scalp to the surface to the tip. And you got to be willing
And
to articulate that in a way that they
Wow.
can receive it, and also in a way of being like, hey, I'm here on the sidelines. I'm not giving you this product and leaving you. Come to my salon. I'm going to just teach you how to use it. You know? So yeah,
And
that's
the critical thing that occurs during that time is the fact that one, they may have to lose their breasts because of the situation. And secondly, now they got to focus on the hair. So that's like multiple type of issues going on there. So they need someone like yourself, a leader like yourself, to really understand their situation and be able to administer some level of mitigation that will make them feel okay. This person's on my side. Because no matter what we go through, we want to know there's someone on our side who understand what we're going through. So that's
Right.
amazing. That's
And
amazing.
I know that that it's like two. It's one you're dealing with the diagnosis. Two, you're
Yeah,
dealing with the fact that you had to have chemo. And
yeah,
then, and I think that I know when my mom had cancer, that very first part, and you first see those first strands in the brush. Oh my gosh, I thought she was gonna. And I said, okay, mommy, we're gonna clip it off. We're just gonna clip it off, and we're gonna
yeah,
make it really, really short. So it's better that we do that
yeah,
than for you to just keep trying to brush it and it just coming out of the brush.
yeah.
That I do know is an incredible emotional place
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
for a
it's
cancer patient.
devastating.
It
It's
Yeah,
is.
devastating. It is more devastating than them losing their breast. They
yeah,
have I've seen women through that, and then when the hair started coming out, it was like it's like having something taken away from you that you have no right to take from me. I didn't say you could
yeah,
take this from me too. I have women say
yeah,
they're sitting there on the toilet, hair just rolling down their back, and
yeah,
that's it's a completely different shift. I remember particularly this one client that had that experience, and she sat in my chair and she said, I just want to shave it. I need you to be in this moment. And so I stood next to her. I pulled out my clippers. I didn't say a word. She didn't say a word. I shaved her hair real nice. And after that, we had some little snacks and stuff. And we just moved on. But I
yeah,
remember the moment she looked at herself before and she looked at herself after. And I said, you know what? This is a deeper issue than, you know, your hair. Her identity changed in that to the next second. And I think it's
Hmm.
important, such as yourself, Crystal, you were there with your mom. You need someone there with you, trying to guide you during that time, because that's so it doesn't solve it, but it definitely gives it a cushion, for those tears to
Yeah,
fall and for that person to hold your hand.
for
you know,
sure.
co-host, it seems as if Sonia has been through these 5 pillars of emotional intelligence in the type of work she does. Because we talked about 1 and 2, which is self-awareness, self-regulation, and the third one is motivation. And that's exactly what it's amazing she's saying these things because it's like she's leading us into the steps. You see what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Because because the hair industry, like I said, when you're a hairstylist, that's your best friend,
Yeah.
man. Because that when you walk out, I mean, as you,
It,
um, our hair, is like the crown, right? And even it says it in the Bible, it's your crown. And
yeah.
so when you lose your crown, we can do everything under the world to it. We could color it, we could do this, we could do that, we could cut
Yeah.
it off, put it whatever. But that's our choice,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
our choice. So, but when it starts to do things on its own, and you don't have no control over it,
Yeah.
yeah, I do think hairstylists kind of, I think they probably exhibit more emotional intelligence than any other industry business owner out there,
Right.
because of the fact that the hair is such a personal thing. It's
Yeah.
so personal
Yeah.
to an individual. And I think it takes a certain type of person uh, to be in the hairstylist or the cosmetology business because
Yeah.
of those very reasons, Gilbert, that we're talking about. Because you can't be a hairstylist without empathy.
Yeah.
I mean, some days you just don't feel like being bothered. You're tired because you've been on your feet all the night before, and then you got to be motivated to get back in there the next morning for that client in the morning, especially braiders. Because I know you didn't taken your hair down, and you didn't made your appointment, and you done all the things that you needed to do. You get there, and the braider don't show up. Lord have mercy. It's like it's the worst of the worst of the worst. And then they have some shameless excuse or
And
none.
see, co-host, you perfect. You make the transition perfect into the fourth area of emotional intelligence, which is empathy. And that's what I'm hearing from Sonia right there, that she's demonstrated so much empathy for her client when they're going through these situations. I can just imagine some of the strategies that she uses to demonstrate empathy, like we see some people that, okay, so you have cancer, your hair is messing up. Okay, we're gonna cut off our hair too and show you that we're with you. We're with you on this journey. So you, Sonia, you probably have some other strategies that you use, huh?
I do. First, I feel like the navigation for me and what has given me my strategy to understand where the person is coming from, that people to me that I've lost from cancer, that I have to go through the process. I've walked that journey. I've seen the days that were not so hot. I've seen the days when they didn't want to talk about it, and
Yeah.
so from that aspect, I'm able to come from an empathetic stand because I can, from my perspective from the outside as a family member, I can kind of discern
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
to best come from. And, it's not always you should wear a wig, you should wear a turban. Sometimes it's just, so how are you feeling?
Hmm.
What look are you wanting to go for right now? What makes you feel comfortable? What makes you feel
Yeah.
safe?
Mm-hmm.
What makes
Yeah.
you feel
Mm-hmm.
like you have control? So that's kind of where I start with my clients, and just going from there and just letting it be a conversation that's just organic. They may not be ready. Some are not even ready for the hair products yet because they're afraid of disappointment, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
even in that instance, I'm still there for them. I still sit there and I listen to them. I give them other resources. I may give them things like, hey, maybe try journaling, start yoga, things that you can do to build. So when you're ready to face hair loss, head front in the face, and say, okay, I'm ready to start growing it back, you have the space for it. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely something that I have to know how to pivot, and each client's different. Each client has a different face. In fact, the name of my brand, the reason why it's called Recover, Restore, Grow, I understand the process of loss. You have to recover from it. That sometimes takes months, it takes years, it takes a series of different
Mhm.
things. Then once you've found the strength to recover, then you have to learn how to restore yourself. You become an entire new version of what you were before, and you got to accept that. And then
Yeah.
from there, that's when you can grow into this new space of where you're at. So
Right,
I
exactly.
embody that from my language I use, from the name of the product, just from my experiences as a human. I understand what that looks like, what it goes through, the phases of it, and I'm just here for the journey to be a support.
Now
Yeah.
you didn't start. You just started as a typical hairstylist, right? You just kind of this
You
journey
know,
just presented presented
I
itself to
did.
you
I
that you
I
okay.
I did. I started early on, and I remember probably about 15 years into my career, I had my first breast cancer patient, and I felt so hopeless. I was like, I
Mm,
don't know how to help her, and hearing her, and then the things that I was trying my own. And so then I, started thinking, man, I need to find some natural ways to grow hair. And then I connected with a company here in Sacramento, a breast care center, and that's when we kind of collaborated. And I came on as a clinical cosmetologist. And so I stepped from behind the chair, making people look cute. I was like, I am going to serve a greater community that needs support.
wow.
And that's what I did. And I had a private setting, I had a private studio, where in dignity they could remove their scarf, where we could talk about anything. And so, yes, that it started 15 years into my career where I knew that was my calling. I knew that's my finish, to
Mm,
step from behind the chair and to serve that purpose.
wow.
So from what I'm hearing, Sonia, from what I'm hearing, you said the first client you had like that, you didn't really know what to do. But it was organic for you to do some things because you have the social skills, which is which is phase number 5 within emotional intelligence, having that social skill. You had that, and that morph itself into the other phases of emotional intelligence. And that's why you came across so legitimately to your clients, because you possess those things: the empathy, the self-awareness, self-regulation, the motivation, and the aspect, the final aspect of it. So you were able to use your know-how, your skills, and put that all together and provide some type of resolution for those clients. And then you keep doing it over the years, and you keep building up that repertoire, and it just becomes automatic. It's just coming out of the DNA, just like that. You see what I mean? It's
And
amazing.
I think Gilbert, and there shouldn't be a difference, but I believe there is a difference
Yeah.
with women
Color.
cosmetologists and
Oh,
stylists that are of color,
yeah.
because it's a whole different thing with us and our hair, right?
Yeah.
Because if you've had unmanageable hair all your life and you finally have that hairstylist that understands your head,
Yeah.
if you're that person that has extremely tender-headedness, or you
Yeah.
have alopecia, that's another one that's really really hard on women, is
Yeah.
having alopecia. It is really it is a calling. I think that is a calling for
It is.
for those that are going into the cosmetology industry, because
Yeah.
you never know from one client to another what that's going to look like. um and since our hair texture is such an interest anyway, uh,
Yeah.
and having that person that understands your head. I remember watching well, two things. My When my hairstylist, who was doing my weaves at that time, she told us that her daughter was going to law school. We're like, oh good, she'll be here another, because she had been saying she was going to retire. And the day she told me she was gonna retire and get a real job, I was like, what the hell you think this is? Where you going? Why you a real job? and what we supposed to do while you go off and get a real job. And so when she told me that she was, her daughter was going to law school, I was like, oh, good. We got to go to undergrad. And then we got another 3 years before she go to law school. We got her for another 7 years. And then the daughter happened to be smart. So she went skipping on through. And so I was so used to her doing my hair the way that it was being done, and it was just so natural. I had to learn how to do my own hair. I was like, I can't go to nobody else because I don't think anybody else is gonna be able to do what she did for me for 20 years. So I'm just gonna do my own. So that's how I learned to do my own hair. But I was watching something, Sonia, recently, and this lady had a grown dread for she had her dreads probably for about 15 years. But they were, as they get heavy, I guess they get really heavy, and it was causing neck pain or something. And her doctor told her she had to have them cut off. And so it was a reel on Facebook, I think. And so every time she sat in a chair, and she was ready to bawl at that minute, man. And when the stylist got close with the scissors, she's like, wait. And they must have did that like 5 times. Just wait. And finally, she says, after the 5th or 6th time, she says, okay. Here's what we're going to do. Let me start in the back. Let me just start, and I'm going to just take off a little bit, just a little bit, until I can get to a place where we can get it all done. She bawled. It wasn't a trinkle of a tear. She bawled the whole entire time. It took her to cut it down. But afterwards, and she hadn't seen herself in a hairstyle with her hair close to her head. I think she was, I want to say she was like in her 50s. So since she was in her 20s. So when she did a beautiful style that was so complimentary to the shaping of her face and her head, that afterwards she went, oh my God, that's me. And she totally forgot about the fact at the bottom of their feet was this whole garden of hair. But it was just amazing. So you do know how people are. And I've heard guys are like that with their barbers as well. Men will follow their barbers across the world if that's who they've been doing their hair for however long they've been doing it. They will follow them.
And our tailors too. We'll follow our tailors too.
Yeah, that's
co-host. You know who Sonia reminds me of?
Who?
Madam C.J. Walker. That's what she reminds me. Because she does the same thing with the hair care product. You see what I'm saying? Because that's how she got started. You see what I mean? Women were having problems with their hair because back in slavery, they have to carry these loads on their head and
the scarves,
bunches of their hair, and make them look unattractive. So she came up with a solution, just like you did. Came up with a solution to get the product. You see what I'm saying? Did anyone ever tell you that, Sonia? No?
It's such a compliment that you say that, because I remember being a young girl, being impressed with her story, because we had a Black museum. I'm from the Midwest, and we had a Black museum, and I would see these Marcel irons. And I started learning about hairdressing. My grandma was a hairdresser, and I started studying Madam C.J. Walker. And she was like my role model as a young girl. And I was like, I'm going to go to school, do hair, focus on healthy hair and growth. So it is such an honor to hear you say that. And you don't even know that about me, and bring it full circle back. It means I have accomplished something.
I didn't know that. But you know what? I didn't know that, but I saw the quality in you. When we're going through these 5 phases of emotional intelligence, I saw that in you. And I know Madam C.J. Walker must have exhibited those 5 phases in emotional intelligence too, to be able to come up with that product that will help women's hair that way. And you're doing the same thing. You're doing it with such love and grace You see what I'm saying? Because it's in you, it's in your DNA. So that's why I had to make that comparison. Well, not a comparison, but that likeness right there. You see what I mean?
Actually, there, but Annie Malone actually was the chemist. So I don't know if you know that story.
She was.
Yeah,
that was very interesting.
Yeah. So she developed the actual salve that Madam C.J. Walker was using, but then she kind of changed the formula a little bit. But what it is, and that's kind of what we're talking, with last month being Black History Month and this month being Women's History Month. When we look at and talk about Black women that are entrepreneurs, it's a different place, right? Because a lot of times our businesses are created based upon what our skill set and our need, and you're solving a solution, just like she said, she had to come up with the solution of that. My mom was a hairstylist. That's how I grew up with her, and she was from Alabama, but it was on the borderline of Tennessee. And so my grandfather, also an entrepreneur, she was the very first Black hairstylist in Memphis, Tennessee, that had their own shop. He made sure that was the case, and so she did my hair my whole entire life, which is why I had this thing with when I transitioned from her to an actual outside hairstylist. That is like, okay, I can't do this no more, because she had done my hair since I was a kid, and that's kind of how she made her money, and she was very, very good at it. That's back there with the pressing curls, but the number of people that I've met over the years that are in the business that you're in, it's a special service, because it's not just about the craft.
Yeah, it's about those skills and talents are just amazing,
and the personality and how they understand, and especially a stylist that understands hair growth, that understands how your hair grows, and how to treat your hair and have growing hands. Oh yeah, that's a special stylist right there.
Sonia, I really didn't mean to make you cry, but I had to give you that respect.
Okay. They were tears of joy, and you know what? That was the best compliment. I got the best compliment so far this year. So that was that. I needed to hear that. So thank you. I receive it. Tears of joy and appreciation.
Yes, and here's what I'm gonna do for you, because we do this on this show. Okay, I'm gonna try to meet with you, and maybe Crystal, if Crystal is available too. I'm gonna meet with you. I want to do an assessment on your business to see how it is, where you're at. And I want to provide you some tools to help you develop your infrastructure and all of that. Okay. So, we'll do that. I don't know where you are in your entrepreneurial journey in terms of development, in terms of infrastructure, but I'd like to take a look at it and provide you some resources. You see what I'm saying? That will help you to grow faster, because someone like you, and Crystal, you know what I'm going to say, someone like you should be accessing contract opportunities with counties like the LA County. They've got a department, they've got the juvenile department for what do you call those kids that
foster kids?
So you have foster kids, and you have Office of the Aging. So you have older ladies who may need your services. So we got to figure out how we can connect you with that, so you can get some contract opportunities out of that. But before we do that, we got to look at your infrastructure, make sure you're contract ready and all of that, and set you up that way. So that's my offering to you on this show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm ready.
You're ready? So Gilbert is, we both have as far as business coach, both of us are business coaches. And so Gilbert, his area is contract readiness. And so he does, in fact, he just finished up one cohort where he was helping his businesses become contract ready. And then is contract readiness, business readiness, and loan readiness. Generally, if you're loan readiness, then you're pretty much ready for contracts. Um, and then mine is more from a structural kind of setup, and so that's what we do that's what we do outside of the business zone. Is both of us are business coaches, so
We need that.
uh,
We need more of that. I remember when I first started, I felt like I was in the dark. And you do need these resources, know how to pivot and
Yeah.
when it's time to pivot. And only someone who has more experience than you can actually look at your business and tell you, hey, you're at this point where you can do this A, B, C, D, or E, or you need
Yeah.
to do this first. So I appreciate what you both offer because we definitely need it, especially in our community. A lot of us don't share our knowledge, and we don't
That's
help
true.
each other.
no.
Sometimes that can be a detriment, but I feel like the power is already there. If we share, we can amass and we can multiply and we can build empires. We just got to be
Yeah.
willing to do what we're
Exactly.
all doing here.
And in your industry, unfortunately, I mean, it's $1 billion industry, but our community doesn't get that. Not even a small percentage of that $1 billion.
Yeah.
I know years ago I was looking at creating a men's grooming salon. So I went to all of the hair shows and all of the beauty shows, and I saw the differences between um, the bottom line for our salon owners and the bottom line for their salon owners, and they do less because they only get their hair done every 6 weeks if they're going to come in for color and cut. That's it. That's all they do. But if we're in there, in there every week in some cases, and just the dollars or don't equate based upon the industry, and then the supplies not selling. When women, I always tell stylists, like, if you're doing weaves, you need to be going somewhere, buying your hair wholesale, and then coming back and they buy it from you. Don't send them up the street to the man. Buy it from
That
you.
part.
That part right there. Why are you sending them up the street? That's your money. I don't get that part. And so, and then there's always an excuse. Now you can go negotiate and do a bottom. You can go straight to the country if you want
That's
to. And I
right.
knew some women that did that. They went straight to Malaysia, got the hair, came back, and like, there you
Love
go.
that.
Because that's an industry that when we talk about wealth building in our community, is the
Mhm.
hair industry or the beauty industry and the entertainment industry. We should be hands over fist
Taking that
money,
back.
right? Because that's your industry. When you go into a salon, to a beauty supply store, who's buying? Who's in there? But us.
Mhm.
It's not even a hard stretch for you to recycle a black dollar in a beauty supply store because
There
everybody
you
in
have
there is
it.
black. They
Yeah.
just need the
Yep.
stores, and so yeah. So Gilbert that's what he kind of does, and what I kind of do, and then I help folks find grants and that kind of stuff to help with their. And so right now there is a huge number of grants for women because it is Women's History Month, and
Co-host,
so
if you want,
Mm.
co-host, you could go ahead and put those grants up in the chat right there.
yeah,
Uh,
I can do well. I think I'll send them to her, and then
okay.
we'll talk about what that is. And then there's some other opportunities. I coach for a number of organizations, and so there's some programs out there that is free to you. It's your tax dollars actually, and they provide you with
Mm.
all kind of coaching and marketing and all kinds of stuff for your business. But before that, I actually have one of my colleagues. She has an organization called Celebrate Life, and it's a cancer ministry. And she lost her. She had a double mastectomy, but she works with a population of women that have had or being diagnosed with cancer, and so she walks them through that journey. And so I'd like to refer you over to her, Rhonda, because I'm sure there are a number of women that could be. You could help a number of women in her organization. She's been doing that for like 18, 19 years.
Wow,
So that would
absolutely.
be,
Thank you. I will be honored.
you are so welcome. So I'll send you over some referrals, and if you're interested in any of the programs, and Gilbert will I'll share your information with Gilbert so he can do his assessment, so you'll know where you are, and then
That's right.
however we can help you, we are here to. That's what we do. We are here to help you, whatever your growth goals are. If we can be of assistance, we're definitely here for you to do that. Sonia, are you in?
I
Where are you
appreciate that.
located?
So I'm located in
Where are you?
NorCal. I'm up in Sacramento.
Oh, okay, I was in Sacramento on Monday.
Oh,
I went
okay.
to
Okay.
Yeah, I went there for the to the Capitol. We did a legislation day where we actually went around and talked to all of the senators up there. And I'm a part of I just joined an organization called the California Black Women's Empowerment Institute, and that's what they do. They lobby and do advocate for bills and legislation for our on behalf of our community and our people in our community. So I flew up on Monday and flew back down on Monday afternoon. It was a great day. So that was my
Nice.
first time at the Capitol. But we got to meet it was like back to back to back from 10 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. All of the senators in the state of California, and there were women that were there from San Diego all the way up to San Francisco. And there's a home base actually right there in Sacramento. So that's what I was there for. But however we can help, whatever you need, my sister, we are here for you to help you. And so you just have to let us know what that is. And both of us have a wealth of we have a large network between the both of us. And however we can be of service, we would love to do that for you.
Absolutely. Right back at you. If I know any other small business owners like myself looking to expand, I know where to send them.
Yeah.
You know what I love about her co-host? She's very humble, very humble. And I like that about her. See, business comes in two dimensions, right? There are two dimensions to business: the art and the science. You control the art because of what you do, your knowledge, your expertise, and all of that. We control the science. We have the infrastructure, the back office, the access to contracts, the access to insurance and bank loans and all of that. You see what I'm saying? So bringing those two together is definitely going to move you next level. So we're looking forward to helping you. Okay.
So
So
are your products in how do you sell your products? Are they just off your website, or are you in a beauty supply store?
So right now, there is one beauty supply store here local, and I was in My BBB down in LA at Crenshaw Mall until they pivoted.
Close.
So I was there. I'm on Amazon, on my website, in my salon. I retail my products. I also have a booth at the Midtown Farmers Market stall there. So we retail there as well. And then there's a few salons across the states that I do retail at as well.
Okay. There is a Black-owned salon here in Los Angeles. There's two now, but it's called Glow and Flow. I know the owners, and I'll make a referral over to you.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah, Diane is completely in the beauty industry. Yeah, so it's Glow and Flow. It's Diane Valentine, and her husband's name is Damian Hartley. I will send you over their information.
What's funny, her last name is Valentine.
She's actually a celebrity.
That's my maiden.
She actually is it? Oh wow!
That's my maiden name. My maiden last name is Valentine.
Okay,
that's funny.
Yeah, Diane Valentine. That's her maiden name. I mean, her married name is different, but yeah, her. So she actually is. She's a TV personality. She actually does weddings and experimental events. She's an event planner, but she used to have she used to have a show on one of the networks before the pandemic. But they owned a beauty salon, and they too felt the same way that we talked about the fact that, why are we letting money go? Why are we just sending money to other people, and when we should be making it with products and owning our own stores versus just spending all those hours behind the chair. I want to say at probably some point in time, Diane probably was in the hair business, because you can look her up on Instagram. She got a thing with the hair, man. She does all kinds. Every time I see her, she got a different hairstyle. But I have a feeling that at some point in the beginning of the career, that's where she was. But they're real cool people, and they're always looking for Black products to put in their store. And
wonderful. So I would love to connect.
Yeah, I'll make that introduction to you as well. Well, my dear, it has been wonderful. I'm sorry about all of the chaos and how we got here. But
it's okay. You know what? It was divine timing, and I'm just grateful to be able to just take a seat here and communicate with you guys, and tune into the conversation is very motivating for me as well, just to keep my compass and to keep who I am in the journey of the business world, right? So I'm honored that you guys were able to receive me here. So thank you.
No, we're very pleased. It's a pleasure to meet you, and we're inviting you into the Business Zone family of Crystal and Gilbert.
Make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe. Well, we call it signing up for the family. Okay.
I'm gonna sign up right now.
Yeah,
for the family, and then I will send you over if you need, grants and so forth. Might as well go for them right now while they're out there, because they can snatch them back in the hot minute. So they're in the mode for it. So go for it. And
you're right. You gotta catch them. They're hot.
You got to catch them. So this is that they're feeling gracious during month of Women's History Month. So take advantage of it. But it's been fantastic, and I'll make sure Gilbert has your contact information so he can reach out to you, and y'all can schedule an appointment and do some assessment, and he can get you certified. Because at this point, she could do for hospitals that treat cancer patients, and they have the doctor, some of the doctors and any of the support organizations that are out there would be beneficial for you and your cancer society. Even going out and speaking on those points.
Absolutely.
That would really fit within your space. So I can see that happening, because I don't think are you the only Black-owned product that's for hair growth for those with lost their hair from cancer? Okay. Yeah. You need to be written up in some Essence magazines and stuff.
I'm trying. I'm working hard.
Yeah, one of my students, she has a hair care product line. She created it when she was 13, and she's been written up in Forbes. So I guess they're ready for it.
Wow.
Yeah, just recently, last year she was written up in Forbes. So yeah.
So your company is called
amazing.
Recover, Restore, Grow. Is that what it's called? Your company?
Yes.
Recover, Restore, Grow. Okay. I'll be looking out for that company.
And the bottle, the logo, get a chance to look at the logo. My daughter actually designed the logo.
Oh, yeah.
And
okay.
Funny quick story behind the logo. It was during a time where we emerged from a difficult situation. So the image is very fitting to me of the brand and just what it expresses.
That is
okay. And now, how long have you had the product?
So for 6 years.
Okay. Wow. That's
Yeah.
Do you,
All right.
do you have it patented and trademarked? Your product?
I am trademarked. Yes, I am.
So how about the product?
That was the first thing I did.
Good.
Yeah, that's important.
Good.
Yeah.
I ran and did that first. It cost me thousands of dollars, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I protected it.
Yeah, you have to, because that's how we've lost so much.
Yeah.
It's not protecting what is ours.
And I ain't giving nothing up. I ain't giving it away.
Yeah, for sure on that one. But well, congratulations on getting your product to market and getting it manufactured, because some people don't do that, and especially in your, like I said, in your industry. And it's so funny because years and years ago I was at a convention, and one of my hairstylists at the time, she and my best friend, that's how I was referred to her, was through my best friend. So she had actually designed the closure, and I kept telling her, let me help you and let us get it to marketplace. And girl, do you know how much money you can make? You don't have to go find a real job because you got one. But not too long after, because they're going into the Korean hairstyle, the beauty supply stores, and asking them and telling them the whole idea. And next thing you know, somebody then created it. And I'm like, I was like, we told you because you sat there and designed it with my girlfriend, so I know it was your idea. And it was not out there. The next thing you know, the closure is all over the place. And then I was at another one, and I was sitting there at the beauty show. They had those that were looking to invest in those that had products in the beauty industry. And this young white girl was there, and so I said, "What is?" She said she had a product. I said, "What's your product?" And so she pulls out this little plastic thing. She says silicone, and it sits on your ear to keep you from being burned. And I'm like, "Well, when did that happen to you?"
Exactly. What you know about that? Come on now. You're kidding me. Wow. That's crazy.
Oh, that's insane. That's insane. How many burnt ears have I had in my life? Time.
I had no burnt ears. We don't know. We know.
That is a true story. And my mouth dropped open, and I went, wow, okay. And she was there looking for an investor because she was getting ready to amp up her manufacturing. I'm like, okay, I done just seen enough. I'm just done. Just done.
Sonia, you and I will talk a lot. We'll schedule some meetings, and because I really want to go over your business, see how, when you got started and all of that stuff. So I'm going to let you.
Fantastic.
I'm going to let you marinate in this moment right now. Just enjoy the essence of this. Okay. And then we'll talk next week or some other time. And I want to help you because, yes.
All righty. Okay. So Sonia, give me the week. By Sunday, I'll send you over all the info, and with his contact, and send him your contact information, and then referral to Rhonda, and then the grants.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much. You guys have a great rest of your day.
You too, as well. Look forward to talking to you. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. All right, take care.
All right, Gilbert, we're going to close it out so I can get ready for water aerobics.
That was a good interview there.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it came about kind of haphazard, but it worked out fine. And so, and it fit in with the with our conversation here. And then next week we'll go in. We'll finish this up. I think there's some more to be finished on this one, and then we can go into. We have
next week. We'll do the rest.
We actually have Marie Cologne next week.
When next week?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Marie Maria Colon.
Yeah, Maria Colon. So we actually I think she will fit. Oh yeah, because the communication one was what we were going to talk about anyway, because you said she's an incredible communicator.
Yeah, she is my
Okay. All right.
She's my marketing person, man. She's phenomenal. So so
okay, well then that's what we're gonna do.
All right.
You ready to end the show?
Oh yeah. So folks,
all right, everyone.
BusinessZone.
Go ahead.
And Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. Today we went a little extra because the guest was amazing. So whenever you're on the show, and if you're amazing, we'll extend the show just for you. And folks, if you want to be a guest on the Business Zone, please reach out to us. You can call me at 626-533-1186, or you can email me at gilbert@thebuchanangroup.net. And my co-host is?
Mine is cmitchell544@gmail.com, and phone number 323-447-7272. You can also go over to the Business Zone website and you can get access to us, as well as going over to our YouTube channel and hitting that subscribe button. And if you look down into the description of our show, you will see our contact information down there as well. And you can reach out to us. Both of us are business coaches, as we had said earlier in the show. And so if you need help with your business, taking it to the next level, here are two people that are, this is our calling. And so that's what we do when we're not here doing the show. We are out there helping business owners reach their goals and success. So with that, we're going to sign off and wish you all a happy weekend. Be safe out there. Make sure you're going to follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, at the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And we are here. We are your business consultant servants at your service.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
All righty.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
All righty. So good show.
Great job. Love it.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you later on.
All right.
I'll send you our information over.
I'll let you go do your water yoga, aerobics.